Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to WPQuickies, bite-sized WordPress tips and tricks in 30 minutes or less. So today we've got an interesting topic. We're going to be talking about webhooks. So I ran a few WooCommerce series over the past few weeks, and I mentioned webhooks a little bit in those, and some people were a little bit interested in learning about webhooks, something a little bit new. So I thought I'd put together this quickie just to give a little bit of an introduction towards webhooks. So hello to everyone. Hi, Gordon. Nice to have you on board. Just leave a comment. Let me know who's here, where you're from, and how's your day going so far. Mr. Miapus, long time no see. We had a WordPress Sydney meetup last night, and we do one at the end of the month, usually the last Monday or the last Wednesday. So we did page builders last night, myself and James. And so James did Beaver Builder and I did Elementor. And yep, Mr. Miapus, who were there, thank you so much. Julia, thanks for signing in, Julia. And Paul says hi to everyone. It's good to have the regulars on board today. Seventh Circle Designs in Dallas, Texas again. Thanks for joining again, Seventh Circle. And Alan says hi as well. Hello to everyone online. Okay, before we get started, just make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm broadcasting on a couple of channels here, my own personal YouTube channel called Will Brown Digital, and on the WP Sydney channel as well. So make sure you subscribe and hit that little ding button, and that lets you know next time we broadcast live. Okay, Judy. Oh, hi from Port Macquarie. Well, we were up in Port Macquarie last year on a holiday. It was lovely. We went to Timber World with my son, and he absolutely loved that. He loved the steam train. So great to hear. Jocelyn, hello from Melbourne. Oh, Melbourne tuning in. I'm glad you guys must have a little bit more relaxation, more freedom of movement, which is fantastic to hear. And Joey J as well. Hi to you all, guys. Okay, let's get straight into this presentation. I want to make it pretty quick one today. I've got some links here for you. Just posting it as I'm talking along. I'll try and answer questions as we go along, and some at the end as well. Okay, webhooks. What are they? Well, webhooks, they allow disparate, that means separate applications to share information with each other. Generally, there's two ways for apps to share information, to communicate. One is called polling, and one is called webhooks. So polling is where you ask an app if it has any information to offer. So it's similar to maybe asking your friends if you're in the pub, if they'd like another round of drinks and which ones they would like. And then your friends will tell you their order and you go and get it and deliver it to them. Webhooks is a little bit different. Webhooks simply give information to an app on each occurrence or each event. So in the analogy above, you simply just bring a round of drinks to your friends when it's your turn, no questions asked. So webhooks, they allow you to automate processes, and automation, and ultimately saves time and money when implemented properly. So that's a good thing to do. Now, in talking in context of WooCommerce, when WooCommerce does something, it makes an event, it triggers a webhook natively. But I'm just going to try and explain just the under the bonnet, what it's actually doing with that webhook, just so you get a better understanding of what these webhook things are. And hi, Gerald, and hi to Gordon. Oh, Gordon's in Port Macquarie too. Okay, Gordon and Judy, you can have a nice offline conversation in Port Macquarie. Okay, right, copy this. Here's another link for you guys. So this is a link to webhooks for WooCommerce specifically. But let's have a look at what we can do with WooCommerce webhooks. So webhooks themselves, they were introduced in WooCommerce 2.2. That's quite a while ago, about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, a couple of years ago. And they can trigger events each time you add, edit, or delete orders, products, coupons, or customers. And what makes it more powerful is that you can trigger a webhook on an action as well. So WordPress is an event-driven application, which means it does one thing, then the next thing, then the next thing. And from a development point of view, it has things called actions and filters. So actions are triggered when a WordPress event does something. So similarly, there's lots of actions available in many plugins, and especially WooCommerce. So every time it does something like adding a customer or a product order, it fires an action, and you can actually link that action into the webhook and get the webhook to send data to somewhere. So an example here is you can create a webhook to be used every time a product is added to a shopping cart, because that uses an action called WooCommerce Add to Cart. So you can basically trigger webhooks on anything you like and transfer information anywhere. So there's a list of hooks as well. So just documentation for you to look at, and that's all the hooks that WordPress has. And each of those hooks, you can, the actions in them, you can fire a webhook for them. John, hi. Oh, hey, Pecan, how you doing? Nice of you to join. Okay. Next one. Okay, let's set up a webhook. So in WooCommerce, and I'll do a little demonstration afterwards. This is why I'm talking a little bit quickly today. So in WooCommerce, you'll find webhooks in the Advanced tab in the Settings. And this is an example of adding one here. So we can see this one has got a name, a status, the topic is action, and then the action event. So all those WordPress and WooCommerce action filters. The action event in this one is WooCommerce Add to Cart. And for this demonstration, I'm going to be using a website called webhook.site. And I'll just copy this. You probably don't need to use this all this often, but it's good for testing to make sure that your webhooks are actually sending information out. So in this one, the delivery URL, that's where your webhook is delivering information to. And I've added the test URL supplied from the webhook.site. And the secret there, that was added automatically when I saved it. So sometimes when you send a webhook to somewhere, it requires a secret that's only shared by the server you're sending it to and the client, just to make sure that that data is correct. But for this instance, we don't need to bother about that. So I know this is quite small. I'll try and make it a little bit bigger. Hopefully it's not too blurred. We are running on full HD 1080p today. I did an upgrade to StreamYard. So right, this one here is, so when I've added something to a cart, it sends out the webhook, a little bundle of data, and that is captured by this webhook.site. And now there's an awful lot of information here, probably a little bit too technical, but we'll have a look when I do a live demo. But really all we're interested in is the data that we're sending to this site. And that's here at the bottom, raw action. So we can see the action here was WooCommerce Add to Cart. And the argument here, I know it looks like a whole bundle of numbers and letters, but that is actually the cart item ID. So you could actually use that in an application, another application. You could call the WordPress REST API and the WooCommerce APIs from there, and actually query the WooCommerce cart class. And there's a method called getCartItem. Supply that argument, and you'll get all the details for the item that's added to the cart. So hopefully you can get a little bit of an idea as to how you can start sending information to apps and how the apps can actually query WordPress back to give it some information. There's another little link down there. It just describes what the argument fields are and what stuff are sent back with WooCommerce. Now, I know showing slides isn't for great, so what I'm going to do is just do a little demonstration of this, just to show you the WooCommerce webhook in action and that site. So bear with me while I share my other screen. Not this one. Let me see. And of course it is missing. Right, I'm going to have to try and do this a couple of ways. There we go. It found it eventually. There, hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going to get rid of myself and just put this full screen so you can see. So here I have WooCommerce just running on a local website that I have. We'll go down to WooCommerce, and settings to the advanced tab, and you can see the webhooks here. So I've got a couple of webhooks. So I've got this add to cart that I was talking about. I've also got one for coupon updated. So there's a lot of back-end stuff that WooCommerce can provide you with. So things like product updates, stock control, coupons, customer orders, all that back-end like shop manager information you can send to another website or a third-party system. So let's have a look at these. Add to cart one. It's just like the screenshot. So it's active. We have an action here. So there's lots of things here, like there's orders, product created, product updated, coupons, customer created, customer deleted, all that stuff, admin stuff. Or you can choose a WordPress action, which I've chosen for this one. And here's the action, WooCommerce add to cart, that WooCommerce fires whenever somebody adds something to a cart. Here's the delivery URL. You go away thing. This is from the webhook site, which I have here up and running. So it just takes one click to set this up. It's just a test. So I copied this URL, and this is the URL that the webhook is sending the data to. I copied that, and then I pasted it in here. I didn't bother with the secret. It just filled automatically for me, and I saved that. There's another one here called coupon updated. Very similar. It's active. So the topic here is a coupon updated. So I'm just doing it for the coupon. Go away, question mark thing. There we go. And again, a delivery URL is the same as the webhook.site. And we're not bothered about secret, and I saved that. So these are the two webhooks that are active just now. So let's see if we can trigger them to do a response. So there's nothing there just now. Sometimes it can take up to 30 seconds for it to register. But let's go along and we'll do a coupon first, which is in marketing, they moved it. So marketing coupons. So I've got a coupon here that's called August 50%. Let's edit that. It's now October, so I'm going to do October, 50%. And let's do a date range. It's valid until 31st of October, an update. So I've made an update to a coupon. So hopefully that webhook will fire and send a little bit of data to our test site. And while I'm here, let's just go and add an item to my cart. So you can see my cart is empty just now. Come on, slow side. There we go. Your cart is currently empty. Return to shop. And I am just going to add this one in, add to cart. And view cart. So there you can see I've added something to my cart. And let's jump over to the test site, the webhook.site. And here we go. Let's just make that maximum. So you can see here, this has found something. Over here, we can see that the webhook resource was coupon. The top was coupon.updated. And the raw content down here, let's scroll down. So you've got the ID of the coupon. You've got the code, the amount, the date created, the discount types, all that different stuff. All that stuff there. A link to it as well. All that information has been fired off by the webhook, and it's been captured here in this webhook site. And that could be any site. It could be Zapier. It could be another CMS. It could be your third-party middleware that someone's created, the developer's created for you, that then does something based on that. Now I did do an add to cart, so we're waiting. It does take sometimes a little bit of time. We'll just talk meanwhile. Let's go back to here. I'll clear that while we're waiting on this, and I'll go back to the dashboard for there. So let's just see if this has updated. Here we go. Here's another post here, a new one. And we can see here it says WooCommerce add to cart. That's the event that the webhook fired in. It's an action, and down the bottom we can see here that we've got the information there. So the action was WooCommerce add to cart, and there's the cart ID item for the product that's in the cart just now. So let me get rid of that screen, and I'll share my presentation again. taking a little bit of time. Okay, hopefully that's not crashed the system. I think it might have. So I've got a StreamYard not responding. So I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds to see if it will come back. Hopefully it will. I'm looking on the iPad and it looks as if I'm still broadcasting, which is good. Okay, so it looks like I've lost the slides, which is a bit of a shame. But what I was going to talk about next was Zapier. So I did have a few slides for Zapier, but this whole concept of webhooks. So WooCommerce, when it fires all this information, it sends all these informations out on webhooks, and you can use Zapier to collect those webhooks. Now, Zapier itself, they have all these what they call recipes, and these recipes, they do have recipes for WooCommerce, quite a lot. So they do things like customer added, customer created. So they've got all those native hooks that they're listening for anyway, so you don't need to recreate them. But you can, if you want to build a bespoke application, a bespoke talk to another application, you can use Zapier's webhook. It is a premium feature, so the webhook listener. So you'll need to upgrade to the premium version of Zapier. But you can get Zapier to listen to any webhooks. So those two webhooks there, I could have sent that to Zapier, and then you can use Zapier's whole huge list of integrations to send that data to anywhere you like on any application. And so it really does open up the power of automation and between WordPress and wherever you want to go. So basically, that was all I wanted to talk about for webhooks. It's a very, very simple introduction to webhooks, just to give you a little bit of an idea as to what's going on under the hood. So unfortunately, I can't take any questions because my browser has crashed. Oh no! But it seems that I'm still actually broadcasting, which is good. So if you guys have any questions, please just leave them in the comments below, and I'll try and get back to you. Like, leave them in the proper comments underneath the YouTube video, and I'll respond to them. Or you can leave them on the meetup.com page, and I'll respond to them there. Next week, what am I doing next week? Let's have a quick look. I did have that on the slide, but obviously it's all gone missing just now. That's what you get for trying to be smart and having too many things open at once. Let's see. Next week, I'm doing the ultimate guide to the WPQuickies.php file. So I'm going to be covering what's in there, what to put in there, and different settings, different cool settings that you can add to the WP config that will affect your site. Okay, guys, if you have any topics that you'd like me to cover for the WP Quickies, there's a link below the YouTube video to a Google form. Please just copy that in, put it up. Let me know of any topics that I can do in 30 minutes or less, and yeah, send that to me, and I'll get some queued up for you. So sorry, guys, sorry about the presentation crashing, but at least it's still broadcasting. I will say goodbye to you just now, and hopefully I'll catch you guys next week. Oh, Joey G, I can't put it up on the screen, but he's saying, when is daylight saving time starting in Sydney? That is in 4 days' time. So October the 4th is daylight savings time. When is that? October the 4th. I think it's Sunday, isn't it? Yep. So Sunday morning. So the weekend, daylight savings. So we go back to being 1 hour ahead, which is a bit of noise. Is it 1 hour ahead or 1 hour behind? Probably 1 hour behind you guys. Pecan, she's saying, can you send via an FTP server? Not sure if you could send an FTP server. This is more like event driven. Just have a look at Zapier. See what other options it has. You might be able to send some data that way, but I would think the FTP server is probably looking for file information rather than doing that. We could probably send to a service, which would then in the back end do something like an FTP. So yeah. Okay, guys, I can see all your thanks. Thanks for sticking with me, even though the presentation crashed. And yeah, I'll speak to you again next week, same time. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.